Okay, so first of all, I would cite the source I used. So it's taken from the Jaguar official YouTube site. It's entitled. It's part of their range, which is called Bad Guys. Okay, after showing the video, I'm going to give some background about Jaguar, so it helps you kind of understand more context about how they're using certain techniques. So Jaguar, if you didn't know, was founded in Britain. It's actually from a place called Brighton, which is right on the coast. It's about an hour from London. And to this day, they still have a headquarters in Coventry. And throughout the years, they've been very proud to be British, and they've never hidden this fact. In fact, they said they're on their official website, quote, they're proud of their role that they played throughout the years in the British economy. And personally, whenever I think of a British car company, I think of Jaguar. And it's because they've built up this certain level of reputation. And I think this advert probably epitomizes how they've done this. So in the advert, I would say that the main cultural narrative they're hitting for is a certain type of person. So wealthy, a person who likes elegance, but also likes to think of themselves as having these kind of bad boy features. And this is emphasized throughout the advertisement. The way they do this mainly is they're playing on certain British stereotypes, which again is more targeting the hearts of some British people, but also then opening up a new market with people who wishing they had certain features of these British stereotypes. Um, this is done by throughout the entire advertisement being set as if it was in a movie scene. And from the very start, from the plane landing, you have a character who says, "Have you ever noticed that bad guys in Hollywood movies are always played by a Brit?" And this immediately sets off the idea. It's a rhetorical question, sort of aimed at getting your thoughts going. And then throughout the whole video, they're playing on that one stereotype that Brits play these bad guy characters, and what makes us good at being a bad guy. And really, they're capitalizing on a theme that has really recently only become big, and the idea that bad guys are these cool characters that wish we could be because they have, all these certain aspects that make them, really cool and interesting, rather than just a, run of the mill, good guy character who, has to save the day and all that. They're very one dimensional. They don't have a lot of depth to them. Where these bad guys can have more depth, and you like to understand them, you like to break them down, think you can, get to know them as a person. So, I mean, I picked up on several key points throughout the whole video. Mainly, they target showing the bad guys or the characters in this video to have a lot of wealth. I mean, this is set off from the initial stage where the private jet landing, in central London. I mean, I've only landed in central London maybe once my whole life, and never in a private jet, maybe economy class, at best, I can imagine. Um, Also, in the background, they're showing the actual financial district of London, again hinting at this wealth with not actually truly stating up front, being very subtle about it. Um, Also, as well, this is emphasized by not only the car chase, who can afford to have a car chase, but these bad guys, they can do whatever they want because they have wealth and power, and they're not afraid of anyone telling them they can't do something. Um, and then throughout the advertisement, each individual character are actually each individually big within the Hollywood scene, as being a certain bad guy, each of their own generation almost. But and then each of the scenes, they're all impeccably well dressed, showing a level of class, sophistication, something that you associate with British people. And I mean, even this is emphasized, I think, even so minorly when the actor gets out of the car, out of his private jet, and the lady hands him his car keys, and she says, "Good evening, sir," and yet he doesn't reply by, ignoring her or brushing her aside. He says thank you and says her by her first name, showing he has some kind of level of connection with her, which you wouldn't normally associate with, someone of high wealth, but showing they have that level of, class and sophistication, something about them that it's very desirable as a trait. I think moving on from this, you have certain scenes where each of the characters are giving descriptive features of what makes them a good bad guy. Their love for power, danger, You can even see them in. You can see this physically in the way that they're chasing each other and trying to outsmart each other in every way. But they have grit and they have something that keeps them together. And each of these features can be also linked to the car the whole time. They keep linking it back to the car every time. They're showing the car doing these things, or alongside, side by side, the bad guy in the film. And right at the end, they state that, of course they all drive Jaguars. Like it's, a given. It's something that, you just have to do if you're a bad guy. If you have this class, there's only one option for you. There's only one car that you can really pick to have to be your car, to be a proper bad guy. So I feel like throughout the whole advertisement, they're really picking out certain features, really looking at the people. They're trying to appeal to a certain audience of people that like to think that they're classy and like they think they have that sort of suave about them. They're cool, but also they have wealth and they have power, but they're not overwhelming with it. They like to present themselves as a nice human being, yet are definitely out for themselves in the long run. And I think that's what's really interesting about it, is it plays on so many different features, using so many different characteristics of bad guys and British people playing bad guys. And that's why I think it's a very good advertisement. I liked it very much. It's part of a series which they've also put out, which you can also look up on the official Jaguar website. And yeah, this is my speech.